Okay. So
Don't say marijuana.
no.
You
Okay.
better not kick him in the ass right now.
Okay. So let's say someone dies. You know how energy cannot be broken down or destroyed, right? So if I were to crush this like can right here, it will not be, the energy in this can cannot be destroyed in it. It can be
It can
remade.
be transformed.
Yes, it could be transformed
It can be
into
changed.
something. Yeah.
It can
Well,
be changed.
If
The
we
human
were
body.
if I were to if we were to die right now, our bodies would transform or change into something else because our energy within ourselves cannot be destroyed.
Can
That
I-
is what that is what Einstein proved in his theory.
Well, can I say something? If you died right now, okay, there's certain parts of your body. Well, this might be scary. That's going to live on
Well,
and
'cause
not die
energy-
for a while. No,
well,
I
'cause
don't.
You will
energy
continue
cannot.
to grow fingernails.
What if you
will
come
continue
back?
to grow hair.
Yeah.
Well, what if you
after
come
you
back
die.
as a cat? What if a cat eats your body and then you come back as a cat? You know, that'd be weird.
No, that's another show. You know, that's
You
where
know.
you're being reincarnated and come back as
Yeah.
Porky
Yeah.
the pig.
You know,
The human body is powered by energy. Okay.
and it cannot.
The brain is the distributor of the energy, okay? So when your hand opens and closes, that's pulses of energy from your brain telling the muscles to contract
What
and
about the
expand to
thinking?
move your hand, okay? When you die, you quit producing energy.
Then what about the thinking process? That's the real question. When me thinking and me talking right now, the ability to say, "Hey, how's it going?" or me talking to you right now, that energy that I'm thinking right now, the ability of me
Well-
multitasking,
Well, see, I think
that
here's
cannot
something
die because
Here's
that's
something
energy.
that's always perplexed me,
That's the
okay?
that's the
about the
crazy
human
thing.
brain, and we don't know.
Nobody knows.
And we don't know until it happens to us, but we used to, as the death penalty, we did hangings and decapitations.
Yeah.
Okay. How long after your head is severed from the body does your brain continue to function so you're actually seeing what's happening?
that would be scary. Could you imagine having your head cut off and it's rolling and you're seeing all these crowd of people going, "Yay,
And
yay!"
you gotta think,
Yeah.
you gotta think that it's gonna work for at least a little bit.
Yes, and then
Whether
what
it's
if
just
Oh,
a
come on.
couple milliseconds
Okay,
or half a minute?
what if that spirit
No,
of you, that energy of you, just floats away and goes into another
come on.
dimension?
Okay,
That's the crazy thing.
Kevin, you're used to watching all these TV shows,
I
right?
am.
Well, you see
I
these.
read
okay,
all these theories.
yeah, okay, but look at this. A guy gets shot on a TV show. He falls over and he's dead, right? He's in a gunfight, Western, whatever,
he
right?
sees it.
All right, he's dropped over dead. But you know what? 3/4 of people, when they get shot, even if they're dead, their body is still reacting for a minute or two
what,
or
what
three.
if their eyes are open?
Yeah,
and,
well,
and they see it.
They are. I mean, they're. I mean,
that's the crazy thing.
it would take like a certain amount of time, just like if you held your breath, you would be observant for a certain amount of time till you pass out if you don't breathe, right? So it's the same way. When you die, your brain is still going to function till there's nothing more
See,
to function.
when I crashed my motorcycle on 4/20/2016, like that memory of me crashing was like, where'd it go?
Speaking
Where
of
did-
crashing motorcycles,
Huh.
have you fixed the brakes on your motorcycle?
Yes, I did.
Okay,
I did.
I want
I
to make
got that
sure.
rotor
Yeah.
replaced.
Well,
Got that fixed.
this guy was riding his back brakes with the piston hitting on the rotor. That's how he was stopping.
I know.
But not anymore.
Yeah.
Got
No.
that. Got that.
So
thing
anyway,
repaired.
we're down to like 10 minutes left of the show, and I keep going back to Giants because that's what our show was about. But you know what? What's nice about this? We can talk about anything.
Exactly.
More now than next week because I do want to put a plug in. Starting on 1st of February, we're going to be broadcasting Monday through Friday from 7 to 9 p.m. Pacific West Coast time. What's going to be unique about our show is we're going to have major guests on our show. So almost every night we're going to have a guest. And then probably or starting around the middle of the first week of January, Well,
February.
I'm going to interview the guest in the last half an hour. You people can call in and ask the guest questions, and the guest hopefully will answer them. And I'm not talking about the guests from down the street. I'm talking a major guests, people who wrote books, people who have been in TV shows and movies, people like a ex-CIA agent.
He's talking about guests with like a huge following.
Yeah, and I have one guest who was with the DOA. I have a guest that was with NASA. I mean,
what about that guest with Star Trek Enterprise?
Enterprise, yeah. And I don't want to mention him yet. That's going to be a major thing I want to promote on the website. But I have a guest that was on the TV show Enterprise. So I mean, I got a guest that was in Ghost Hunters that's going to be on the show. I mean,
so basically, the show's gonna get so much better.
Oh yeah, it will,
because they won't have to listen to me.
Or me. I mean, what's nice about that when I interview the people, they're going to tell me their story, and what they did and what transpired to be what they are right now. So that's going to be really interesting. So I mean, and it'll be.
I'm looking forward to what this is going to become.
Yeah, so am I. It's scary though. I mean, it started out as a hobby. I was just going to do this for like one day a week as a hobby. And all of a sudden, the motorcycle talk, I like it. We're going to do that a couple of days a week, but we're cutting it down to half-an-hour shows. And then we're podcasting them. But this paranormal thing, which I've always believed in ever since I saw a light coming through New Mexico. And then when I'll swear to God, when I saw that creature, it chased me and my friend who was a medical doctor about 2 miles to the car and got up to the car before us. That was enough to convince me there's things going on.
That would have scared the hell out of me.
And then there's something I have never, ever told anybody other than my family. But years ago, and don't go into this, just let me say it. My oldest daughter had a boyfriend. And I found out one day he was abusing her. And it was enough where I got upset. I called the police department. I'm not going to say the city, right? They sent out a police officer. The main officer was out driving around trying to find my daughter's boyfriend, but I had a rookie officer in my house, right? He just was got out of the academy, new on the force. And right then and there...
this was back in 1996.
Yeah, 96. But I'm not going to go into... Okay. I don't want to say anything too specific. Anyway, the officer... over-exaggerated, and when her boyfriend came to the house, the officer told me to tell him to lay on the ground, and then he was going to, handcuff him. Well, it scared the kid so bad that he took off running. Now, I didn't know. I found that's one of the reasons why I called the police. I found out he had a gun. But in this case, he took off running. He was shot in the back of the head. The officer, said, "Oh, no, he pulled the gun out." Well, I absolutely seen everything that happened because I stepped out of my house and was looking down the alley, and I saw the kid get shot.
He was 17 at the time.
Yeah, and it was a horrible thing to go through emotionally.
Especially me,
but
3 years old.
But here's what happened is, a couple nights later, okay, I go to bed at night, and I would start having it felt like a dream, but it wasn't a dream. Occasionally, I would ask him, because we lived about a block away from KFC. I said, "Hey, can you go get me a wing dinner?" And then he would go, him and my daughter would walk down there and bring me back, my food, right? All of a sudden, I have this dream where he's standing next to the bed, and he says, "Hey, Gary, I'm not mad at you. I just want to let you know that I don't hold any hard feelings with you." And then that was over with. Then a couple nights later, the same thing happened. He's standing by the bed. I'd wake up, and I'm looking at this ghost, okay? I hate to say it. You think I'm crazy. But this went on for like 3 or 4 nights in a row. So I called up. He was with the Muckleshoot tribe. We called up the tribe, and they sent out a medicine woman. They didn't have a medicine man, but they had a medicine woman. And she did the cleansing of the house. And as soon as she did the cleansing of the house, I didn't have another one of those dreams or the spirits or whatever
Is
come.
that why
Yeah.
we have all those Indian
Yeah.
things
Yeah,
around our house?
yeah, they gave us a couple of things to keep the evil spirits and the spirits are out. So that's one of the reasons why, honestly, I'm into paranormal. It's been three things in my whole 66 years of life that has me convinced that there is more things out there than there actually is.
And all of those things have been major things, not little tiny things.
No.
Those are all pretty major, hard to explain events.
Oh, yeah, just like my friend, who was a medical doctor. He just started a practice. He got out of medical school. He did his internship, right? He went out and spent a lot of money, got an office, hired a receptionist, hired the nurse. He was in practice less than a year. We decided to go on a photo trip, right? So we go for a photo trip. We're up in the Canadian Rockies, way out like 2 miles off the road up to an old World War II internment camp, which I told you about. And we were taking pictures.
Which in itself would be eerie.
Yeah, it was. And, all of a sudden we see, like 100 yards or whatever it was away, we saw something that looked like a bear, but it was a lot bigger than a bear. And then I'm looking closely and I'm saying to my friend Bob, I said, hey, look, I said, that don't look like a bear because that has longer arms than a bear would have, and longer arms than you or I have. Okay, and then it made a scream that even when I think about it, I still remember. It was so eerie. Okay, we took off,
and that's
So
something
paranormal.
that all of these encounters, it's the same scream.
Okay, and you know what? People have said, because I've only told my wife this, and I told one or two close friends all these years about it, right? They said, well, you had a camera. Why didn't you take a picture? Well, you know what? I'll be honest with you. When you're in a situation like that, you don't think about, I'm going to stop and take a picture. When you see,
Would you stand still for a second so I can take your picture?
yeah, when you
Yeah,
when
thank
100,
you.
okay, put it this way. It was around 100 and some yards away from us, okay? Which was that, 300 feet away?
And it's not like it's not like they have a smartphone.
And when we took off running, because I never been so scared in my life. I'll be honest with you. I was running on pure this being scared. We get back 2 miles later, away from, to our car. And the thing was already there and pulling a tree, which was around 20 feet tall, a pine tree or something like that. And it was bowing over like a bull, just bowing it over. Okay. And, it scared us so bad. I got in my car. My doctor friend barely got in the car because I could have ran him over. All I could think about, honestly, was getting away.
Getting the hell out of there.
That's what I did. And then, we stopped down several miles. We stopped in a little store. And actually, the guy married a Canadian, and that's how he became a Canadian. But he had a little grocery store, and we were telling him about that. And he said, there has been sightings of Bigfoot around here. And we told him what we saw, and he goes, well, that don't sound like any bear. He goes, I've been living here for 20 years. No bear, what you're describing, a bear would do that. Let alone a bear wouldn't, put it this way, a bear wouldn't be smart enough to know where our car was at, number one, and be there as we get there because it knew a shortcut there.
Out of curiosity for our listeners, describe the Bigfoot, like in the Rockies, in the Canadian Rockies,
Well, hey, if you ever ran across one, why don't you send me an email at motorcycletalkbygary@gmail.com. That's motorcycletalkbygary@gmail.com. But what I'm saying, Ryan, there is things out there. So when people sit there and say the earth is flat, or the earth is round, or there's no such thing as ghost, or there's no such thing as Bigfoot, or there's no UFOs, and giants never existed, okay? You know what I can say to them? I can honestly say they need to go drink a cup of tea.
Well, and it's right back to you can believe what you want doesn't make it true.
Oh, yeah. And you can sit there and tell me it never happened, but I tell you, I'm not lying about any of this, and you can believe me or not. But it's been enough where I believe there's more things than what the government says there is. And,
absolutely.
And if you don't want to believe in Bigfoot, you don't have to believe in Bigfoot. If you don't believe that, put it this way, Columbus, right? And we're going to go over the 2 hours probably by about 3 minutes. You know what? When Columbus went out to search, right, for finding spices